Hey everyone, it's Kiz. It's two I's, two S's, and two A's. And today I'm back with a third build. This is my third speed build video. And this time I wanted to do something a little different. I guess not different. It's inspired by warm weather again because I'm tired of the cold and I wish it were warm. So this build is Bora Bora inspired, and if you don't know what that is, you should totally Google that. It's a resort in the Pacific, I think. Let me check that out. Yeah, it's a Pacific island, part of Tahiti. Oh, I didn't know that. And anyway, it's more of a resort. It's off the coast of an island, and it's these little huts that trail off the main part of the island. And it's very secluded, and it's more like a couple's retreat, probably. I don't know that very many family members would visit this place. But anyway, it was mostly inspired for me because of I want it to be warm. I really want it to be warm. And I want to swim. That also. And I love swimming, and I haven't swam in like it's been a while. But this build took me a total of I want to say somewhere around 10 hours, probably. And I actually did a stream last night where I finished up the build because I didn't feel like recording anymore. So the last part of the build, which all I did was I decorated the bottom of the pool. I did that completely on stream, and some people came out and watched me because I guess they liked the build. They thought it was cool. So that was really nice. But yeah. I was going somewhere with that. Oh, oh yeah. And when I was streaming, I said that I had promised myself back in November that I would never do another big build because I had done one in November and it completely drained me. I used all of my creative resources and I had exhausted myself. You know, it felt similar to like running a mile. That's how I felt. No, probably like 5 miles. I was exhausted after that, and I didn't touch Sims for 2 months after that because I was so tired and I had no idea what to build because everything that I could build had already been built in that in that game. So I decided I would always do small builds or small-ish builds, and I've betrayed myself and I've done another big build, and it is bigger than any build I have ever done in the past. Which shows you how lazy I am in terms of Sims building. So, forgive me. But I really enjoyed building this, and I was super excited too because I would love to go to a resort right now. I've only been to one resort, and it was in Ethiopia, and it was near a crater lake. Oh, I can't remember. Laguna. Yeah, it was called Laguna Beach, Laguna Crater Lake Beach. And it was a little resort, and resorts are a little questionable. You enjoy the comfort in an area where the locals may not have access to that comfort, and the only employment for them is that resort. So it's definitely questionable social wise. Only certain social classes can access those things. Fortunately enough for me, that trip was completely funded by a university to hang out with other Ethiopian university students, and it was just a stop along the way. We were only there for a couple days, and it made all of us uncomfortable, honestly. It was a very beautiful place, but we were very aware that the resort was causing the local area to go through a drought almost because they were using up all of the natural water underneath the ground, the groundwater, which is hugely concerning. But they had plans to fix that so that way it would be more natural because it's always good to be aware of those things when you travel, especially to third world countries. Obviously, tourism can be their goal, but it's almost always at the expense of the people. You know, it's good to be aware of those things and to make sure that you're not feeding into that. So, and that was, I did that about four years ago. So I don't know that I would ever go back because of that, unless those issues were fixed. And, you know, I hope the staff would be paid appropriately and not migrantly, you know. But anyway, so I so for this build, it was really frustrating. Okay, so I built it the first time I built it, my game crashed, and that was actually earlier in the build. You saw it sort of glitch out, and it like skipped over a bunch. That was after my computer had crashed. I had built a bunch of stuff. I saved it, but nothing was recording, and my computer crashed, and then I had to rebuild it, and I didn't feel like recording that again, and it was really frustrating to do, and it would add it on to those hours that were just useless, you know, because you tend to have those in Sims. And for these roofs, I was trying to match the photos online, the Bora Bora style thatched roofs or hut roofs, or hay roofs. I really don't know the correct terminology. And I was trying to imitate that, and I thought when I was looking at the photos, I thought to myself that the roof style was really strange, and I didn't know if I could imitate it, and I thought I would have to improvise and do something different. But then I stumbled on this cool design, and it looks pretty similar, more similar than I thought I could ever get it to. So I'm really glad that I discovered that. So I like the way the roofs turned out. I wish that we had an island pack or some sort, like island themed Sims 4 pack. That would be really cool, because this build would have been much easier to do. Because as you can see, I build this in Windenburg on the biggest lot, 64 by 64, and there's mountains in the background. There is water, which is another reason why I chose it. There is water in the background, but it's mostly mountains and grass, and it looks a little weird. But imagine it as like a spa resort, you know, like a Atlantis in the middle of a neighborhood or something. Yeah, like a subdivision. I don't know. And another thing that bothered me about this build was this thing, what I'm trying to do right now, which was to create a room. So I created a diagonal room, and I thought that would all be fine and dandy, but for some reason in Sims 4, the rooms glitch out. Not the rooms, the diagonals glitch out. So you can build a diagonal square, but then if you try to put something on top of it, it won't recognize it as a proper square. It sees it as sort of sitting outside of the boxes. So nothing lines up on top, and it took me forever to hijack the system and make a room anyway. Like, there was no way for me to make just a normal square on top. It just didn't recognize the hut or the room beneath as a square on the grid. It was really weird. So I eventually did figure it out, though. And I wanted to go for a more natural wood looking paneling. I couldn't really find that, though, and this was as close as I could get. I bought another game, yay for me. I downloaded Spa Resort, and it came with a lot of stuff that was perfect for this build. I'm getting so lucky with buying packs for builds and being able to properly make them. You know, because like the Spa Resort was perfect for what I had in mind for this build. Probably also Jungle Adventures would have done well, even better, but I don't have a lot of money. I can only buy about one sim pack per pay period. That's what it's come to. But yeah, I think it turned out really well with the limited resources that I had. I really like it. And I tried to go for this modern fencing. I don't really like it. I didn't feel like it fit the theme, and Bora Bora definitely does not have very modern things. It's very natural and native. So I went with like a picket fence because I thought I thought that looked better also. However, for the rest of the build, it is not as natural. I do go modern because that's all I have really to design with in The Sims. Jungle Adventure would have really helped with the interior design here. I could have probably used a lot of things in that pack. If you guys do want to download the build, it'll be on the gallery under Kiz's 2 I's, 2 S's, and 2 A's. And if you have the Jungle Adventure, I personally would go ahead and put elements from that game into the interior build because I wish I could have done that. I think it would have completely changed my build. It would have made it look so much better. So, and if you do download it, I'd love to, and you change things, I would love to see what you change. That would be really cool because, yeah. Because first of all, it would mean that you liked my build. And second of all, I love creatives. And I know that the people who build on Sims are so creative. Sims 4 building is a nice creative outlet. We really get to stretch our fingers in so many aspects, especially spatial. Oh, what is that called? Spatial. It's a psychology term to describe how artists develop an artistic ability. It's called like spatial. It's like it's an area in the brain where that considers spatial organization, I want to say. So artists are able to look at a space and decide what would balance it and what would fit and what would not fit and what would look good. And I think I love I just love psychology. I like how psychology can infiltrate art like that because I've always, before I took my psychology classes in college, I always wondered how it was that certain people were able to better understand how to design a space better than other people. And I've never been very good at interior designing, I don't think. I've definitely gotten better over the years. My art area is definitely painting. I love to paint and I love to draw. I don't think I'm like exceptionally good at it, but I do like to do it and I don't really care about the details. But like I said, I talked about my roommate in my last video. My roommate is an incredible designer. Our house looks amazing because she's so good at designing. I mean, amazing. Like, it's catalog amazing. I think at one point she was contacted by a magazine to feature our living room, I want to say, or something, because it looked really cool. But then they ended up not using the picture that she gave them. So, but she was still contacted because our house looks really cool because of her. And she's always been really good at that. And she also plays The Sims. And I'm trying to convince her to get to throw down for a computer so she can also make builds on YouTube, but she's not really digging it. But yeah, I mean, she's always been really good at like spatial designing and stuff like that. But I've never been terribly good at it. Like, I think I'm okay. I'm not like really good. But yeah, so I don't usually do this in Sims 4 builds, or I try not to, but usually I build the outside first, I decorate the landscape, I get a feel for the outside and I try to perfect it so that way nothing else needs to be done on it, and then I go inside. However, for this build, I was too excited to design the inside, and I really liked the way that the shape of this building had turned out, so I immediately just went into designing it because I had all these ideas. And sometimes I am short on ideas and I have to take advantage of them when they come to me. So that's what I was doing here. This does change a little bit though. Actually, a lot. I can never make up my mind when designing. I never know what really looks good. So this doesn't, well, it stays like this, but it's reorganized a little differently. And especially as I go through and finish the rest of the build, the rest of the huts, I change my mind on themes, which I wanted them all to have a very similar theme. And then I go back and I change things. And like this rug right here, I was looking at pictures of Bora Bora huts, and they actually have glass in some huts, like I guess the master huts or the big suites. They have like a glass floor in some areas, like beneath the bed, so that way you can see down into the ocean and you can see the fish and the sharks and the dolphins and what have you. I'm sure you wouldn't be able to see dolphins, but you never know. So, and then I remembered that I have the dance floor, so I get rid of this and I replace it with the dance floor, and I think it looks better. I was also struggling with not putting a TV in these huts. You should not go to a resort to watch TV. That should never be what you do. So I did not want to use a TV, but it was almost instinctual because I don't think I've ever built a resort before, and I always build houses. So, and generally speaking, I don't really like TVs. I think they can be a lot of waste of time. I do watch a lot of Netflix, or no, I used to. I don't really do that anymore, but I don't see any shame in Netflixing. I really don't. Although it can get kind of out of hand. I can say in the past, during my darkest times, I probably swam through like 9 seasons of a series, probably. And yeah, definitely. I would say like probably oh, what's that TV show? Bones. I watched a lot of Bones one time. And what else did I watch? Oh, The Office. God, you can just have that on the background and just do your thing. So I don't know if that really counts, but I did watch a lot of The Office. I love those short BBC TV shows. They're so well made, and the plot. I said this in a previous video, but just in case this is the first video you guys are watching of mine, I'm a huge reader. So I read a lot of books, and because of that, I have a particular taste in terms of what I watch, and I don't really like sitcoms or the majority of American dramas. They don't really interest me. I find them very too simple, I think. So I tend to watch mostly, British. I watch a lot of British TV shows, a lot of foreign TV shows. I watch a lot of Korean dramas, which, man, Korean dramas are something else. They seem very simple, and then you start watching them and the craziest thing will happen and you're just like, what the heck am I watching? Like, you went in thinking that you were going to watch just a basic romance, and the tables have turned and now there's a murderer, and the uncle is not the uncle, and the daughter died. Oh my god, it's just so dramatic. I love it. So but yeah, I'm coming close to the end of the build. I love this part right here. So I'm finishing up this hut and I'm deciding how I want it to look. And it looks really good. And I switch over to this angle here in the twilight. Oh my god, it looks so good. You guys are gonna love it. Look. Wait, not yet. There you go, look at that. Oh, that is so gorgeous with the mountains in the background and the orange haze. Oh my god. The backgrounds in Sims 4 are something else. I love them. It's something that, Sims 2 and 3 never had, and they should have, because it would have made a world of difference. Not that I play Sims 3 or 2. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. So before I finish this stuff, I go ahead and I finish I finish the outside of the huts, which is what I was saying before that I had forgotten to do. So I'm putting windows and then I'm trying to even it out to make it look good. Honestly, I get a little window happy. In the second part of this video, or of this build, I do tone it down on the windows. I get rid of a lot of them. I was able to see my flaw. When you play Sims for so many hours, you can get a little blind, I think, and you can't really see anymore. That's how I feel, and I really needed to break at this point, and I was just putting windows wherever it felt right, and it was just wrong. There was too many windows. Yeah, oh, looks terrible. But I love the way the water looks, I have to say. That looks so good. I was also seeing if I could fit a staircase in the smaller huts, and I couldn't, because I wanted it to be like a 2-level, but I figured that out in the next video. But anyway, if you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.